So you got Kentucky, who was Union during the Civil War, but then after the Civil War, they went Confederate, and the Confederates have been running things for a long-ass time. I don't know if there's ever been a turnover. It doesn't look like the Confederates are running things now, but you do have Steve Brashear, where he comes from, is Dawson Springs, and that's where the main headquarters for the Ku Klux Klan is in Dawson Springs. So I hope he is not influenced by that. I hope he looks at that as something horrible and real shitty. I think it's like the Grand Imperial fucking Wizard of all times right there in Dawson Springs. Racism is bad. A lot of people are not racist. They look down upon racists. They're racialist. You know, they'll say the white people are like this and black people are like that, and that's racialist. But racism does exist on both sides. Black people can be racist. There's some people like, oh, you can't be racist. Like, yeah, you can. Sure. If you discriminate against somebody based upon their fucking appearance, that's fucking racist. And I got robbed, and actually one of my so-called friends, he says, well, you know, and I was living in a black area at the time, and he says, well, you know, you had it coming. Well, why'd I have that coming? Just because, you know, pale peach skin lives in, you know, their neighborhood, so therefore, you know, I had it coming. And it's kind of bullshit. It just made me think, like, the motherfucker doesn't empathize with me. I'm a different fucking color to him, right? We ain't the same fucking people. And, you know, I didn't respond to it at the time because, like, what the fuck, man? Here I'm standing by the door, you know, just ready for anything to pop off. And then he wants to come by and just be like, what the fuck, you know, ha ha ha. So it made me think, like, what are you going to do? Put a fucking cross up in my yard? What you going to do? Fucking sling me around a tree? If I could throw my family off the board of the Amistad? Same shit with, Malcolm, no. The same, well, kind of with them, but with the social movements class. There's this fucking asshole that she would just shit all over me, and what? I'm supposed to fucking stand up for myself? Black woman is sitting there just being a dickhead to me, and I'm supposed to what? Tell you that you're wrong? She says, yeah, you have black ancestors. Sure, there's black people in your tree, your family lineage. Yeah, I'm sure that matters, though, you know, I'm sure that makes you a little black, but... What do you mean, but? You just fucking threw my fucking black ancestor off the board of the Amistad. You just fucking slung my fucking ancestor up on a fucking lynch tree. How are you any different than the white supremacist? And she would talk like an asshole, like white people would do. And, you know, it's again, slave mentality. We're both intellectual slaves, but they're gonna ready to fucking hit me because I had said something. No, I don't agree with that. But you're sucking the fucking... teacher's dick the whole time. Everything she says you agree with, but anything the person next to you want to disagree with? Nah, this is Uncle Tomfoolery. This is fascism. This is how fascism creates. This is how hierarchy destroys relationship, and this is what people give a shit about. All they care about is the fucking hierarchy. That's all they care about. Having, you know, power over in their mini dictatorships. Anyways, this is about Kentucky history, or Gallatin County history. I want to read 2 slave narratives. There's 2 slave narratives coming up. Also, I want to reinforce 2 stats. So you had 1,200 Kentuckians who were killed in the War of 1812. War of 1812 was the third white man civil war over Amerindian land. So French Indian War, you know, you had the British and the French trying to steal the Indian land, and then you had the Revolutionary War, again, British and the colonialists trying to steal Amerindian land, and then here they killed Tecumseh. So War of 1812, they murdered Tecumseh, they took over Ohio and Illinois and Indiana and a lot of the Northwest. So they stole the fucking land, and this matters because the War of 1812 hits Kentucky directly. Kentucky lost 64% of those who were killed in the War of 1812 were Kentuckians. So the War of 1812 for Kentucky is like, that's the most important fucking war out there, right? It was, and it sucks. It's kind of embarrassing because they were Indian genociders, right? What the fuck are they defending? They ain't defending their fucking homeland or freedom. They stole the land they was on. They was sitting on Shawnee land, and the Shawnee kept on attacking. After War of 1812, Tecumseh's dead, and the Shawnee don't attack no more. So that's how you win. That's how you take someone's fucking land. You just wipe them all out and you kill them. That's what white people have been doing in Kentucky since 1774. 8 of Kentucky's governors had service in the War of 1812. Isaac Shelby, George Madison, John Adair, Joseph Desha, Thomas Metcalf, Charles Anderson Wycliffe, Robert Perkins, Letcher, and John Jordan Crittenden. 1,200 of the 2,500 men Kentucky supplied for the war effort were killed, which is 64% of the total deaths. Many of their remains were never recovered or their final resting places properly marked. Americans killed in action during the war totaled 1,876, and so the total approximately 1,200 of 1,876 is 64%. 64% Kentuckians, the people that died in the War of 1812 were Kentuckians. So really poor. I don't know. I don't know if these are just like people that are taking their own initiative and they're doing it, or by gunpoint. You know, you better fight for us or else. And so, if it was that way, I would have more sympathy because we're poor, you know, whites. What else are we going to do? And military commission, you know, could be like a decent paycheck and shit. But I mean, they're killing innocent people, and that's our history right there. We're not integrationists. We don't get along with others. 30 of Kentucky's 120 counties are named for War of 1812 heroes, Indian genociders. Dare County, Allen County, Ballard County, Clay County, Crittenden County, Davis County, Edmonson County, Graves County, Hart County, Hickman County, Hopkins County, Jackson County, Johnson County, Kenton County, Lawrence County, Meade County, McCracken County, McLean County, Madison County, Meade County. Wait a second here. Metcalf, Owen County, Perry County, Pike County, Russell County, Shelby County, Simpson County, Spencer County, Taylor County, Whitley County. And then the Civil War, motherfuckers are going to be like, we was Confederate. No, you weren't Confederates. 100,000 Kentuckians fought for the Union. Only 25,000 fought for the Confederacy. So Kentucky supplied 4 times the amount for the Union effort. To stop slavery, to be for America, to not be a bunch of treasonous fucking anti-fucking Americans. Right? So it's fucked up. You know, War of 1812, you have these Kentucky Americans, right? That's how they were written about in the history books. They were Americans. But then you have these Confederates that rebelled. So evidently the 25,000 were not Americans. They were anti-America. Pro-Kentucky, pro-themselves, pro their state, supposedly, theoretically. Definitely pro-slavery, duh. Like, that's obvious, too. And they was, you know, the Confederate flag is the first terrorist flag. They were, you know, fighting the country. So, Confederacy had 25,000 Kentuckians, and then the Union had 100,000, including 24,000 African Americans. So a lot of black folks joined up to fight, coming out of Kentucky. So, you know, when people talk about history, they tend to forget about that. They even hit, I don't know. There was a teacher actually at Spalding University that was like, nuh-uh, more of us fought for the Confederacy. When we can't really do anything about the war, so who gives a shit? Oh, well, who cares? Yeah, of course that's how you are, because obedience in the classroom is the reason why we have war, genocide, and slavery. Obedience is why we have that, and they teach us obedience. That's the American way. So 2 slave narratives. I found on the Northern Kentucky Views, under the miscellany, just different news clippings that they had about Gallatin County. You got this Felix L. Hensley. Felix L. Hensley. Lindsay, my bad. Felix L. Lindsay. And then you also have a lady. You got a lady, Lola Chambers. So Felix L. Lindsay and Lola Chambers. And I don't even like the way they've written it up. It's all like in slave speak. So it almost seems like they're mocking them. They're taking their fucking stories, but they're mocking them. So I'm going to start with Lola Chambers, okay? So the subject of this sketch is Lola Chambers, who is not certain of her age. However, she knows she is past 90. And that she was born in Gallatin County, Kentucky, near Virginia. So, that's weird. How big was Gallatin County? I don't think it was big enough to be touching Virginia. But she knew Gallatin County, right? And Kentucky's next to Virginia. She lives with her granddaughter, Genevieve Holden, 2627 Thomas Street, St. Louis, Missouri. Lying ill so St. Louis, I mean, she just kind of come down the river. Lying ill in a 3-quarter metal bed in the front hall of her granddaughter's 4-room brick apartment. The old lady is a very cheerful person with an exceptionally fair complexion. Her brown hair is mixed with gray and she wears it quite long. Her room is neatly furnished. I was born in Gallatin County, Kentucky more than 90 years ago. Slaves didn't know their age in those days when I came along. I did not know I was born in July. I do know I was born in July, and my mammy's name was Patsy Lillard. There's Knox Lillard fucking road in Gallatin County. So the fucking Lillards were goddamn fucking slave owners. The fucking Lillards. So, yeah, Patsy Lillard, right, is Lula Chambers. Let's see, Patsy Lillard. And then you have, I don't know nothing at all about no kind of father. Of course I had one, but who he was, I never knew. I ain't never seen my mother enough to really know her because she was sold off the plantation where I was raised. So the Lillards were dickheads, right? They're selling their fucking mother down the river, which is where that phrase comes from. I'm gonna, send you down the river, ship you down the river, because that's what the fuck they would do with the black slaves. So she doesn't know, she knows, I guess, she doesn't know her mother. He knew her mammy's name, but she never seen her mother enough to know her because she was sold a long ass time ago, and she didn't have a father who was never around, or maybe he was sold too because she was sold off the mother was sold off the plantation when he was too young to remember, and I just grew up in the house with the white folks that owned me, and their names were Dave Lillard, so Dave and Patsy Lillard. So they lived in the house, so she's a house Negro, right? So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to understand her. She might be like the ones that hate the fucking field Negroes and say, why should we rebel when, they treat us so good? Well, they're treating you good because you live in the house, right? They live close to you. He owned more than 100 slaves. God damn. So the fucking Lillards were fucking slave-owning motherfuckers. Big-ass plantation, big fucking slave owners. Gallatin Countyans. So you want to know where the fucking racism, the 97% fucking white demographic comes from? Long history of fucking racism there. That's why you got the Confederate flags today. They don't give a shit about their history. They fucking love this shit. And at, what, 1 to 2% black? You're like, what the fuck, man? Y'all gonna fucking blame all your problems on... You're scapegoating, okay? Why don't you just blame it on the Jews? Shit, there's like probably 1 or 2 Jews in the fucking town. Blame it all on them, Just scapegoat it. Blame it on the Asian, right? Blame it on some Mexican. It doesn't fucking matter. It definitely ain't the white. 97% white. Just know that. Gallatin County, all your problems have nothing to do with the 97 big-ass fucking block of white supremacy. Sure, none of those people are guilty of shit. 8,600 people, 97%, so 8,500 people. He owned more than 100 slaves, fucking Dave Lillard did. He told me that my mother had 7 children and I was the baby of them all, and the onlyest one that, onlyest one living that I knows about. They sold my mother down the river. I was too young to recollect a mother. I fared right well with my white masters. I done all the sewing in the house, wait on the table, clean up the table, knit and pick wool. And my old miss used to carry me to church with her whenever she went. She liked lots of water, and I had to bring her water to her in church. She had so much temper, they never bothered me none about nursing the children. But I did have a heap of nursing to do when I growed up. I used to get a whipping now and then, but nothing like the other slaves got. I used to be scared to death of those old Ku Klux Klan folks with all them hoods on their heads and faces. I'll never forget, I saw a real old darky woman slave down on her knees praying to God for his help. She had a Bible in front of her, of course she couldn't read it, but she didn't know what it was, and she was praying out of her very heart till she drawed the attention of them old Ku Klux, and one of them just walked in her cabin. One of them just walked in her cabin and lashed her unmerciful. He made her get off her knees and dance, old as she was. Of course, the old soul couldn't dance, but he just made her hop around anyhow. Yeah, good. This is God. This is my motherfucking childhood, man. This is exactly what the fuck they would do. This is insane. They would be whipping. Oh yeah, we gonna whip you, motherfucker. Ha ha ha. Violence against you, you dumb slave. And then just to make you dance, right? They fucking whipping this guy or this old lady, darky was a woman, right? She's like light complexion, so she's a house Negro. She has fair complexion, so she like looks like them. But there's this dark old woman who was on her knees praying to God. She had a Bible in front of her, and it didn't matter. It didn't fucking matter to the fucking old Ku Klux Klan bastards out of goddamn Gallatin County, Kentucky, because them motherfuckers don't give a shit about anybody. They don't give a fuck about. They don't give a fuck about anybody. It's fucking white supremacy, and if they're, they're sadistic enough to whip an old fucking lady, they don't, they're fucking psychos, man.